I know that we're running a little late. The I-4 traffic has affected all of us. So I just want to say, first of all, good morning and welcome. My name is Wayman Armstrong. I'm with ECS, Engineering and Computer Simulations, and I have the honor to chair Mayor Teresa Jacobs' Blue Ribbon Commission on Modeling Simulation Training. First of all, I'd like to recognize our elected officials today. I would start off with Orange County Commissioner, District 1, Betsy Vanderlei. District 4, Commissioner Jennifer Thompson. District 5, Emily Bonilla. And Orange County Public School Board Member Pamela Gould. Also, we have Lauren Allen, who's representing U.S. Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy. And Vanessa Lewis on behalf of Commissioner Siplin of District 6. For some of you, I know it's your first time attending. I want to give you the genesis of how this started. It was the spring of 2013, and myself and some in the audience, I look out and see among us here, Lieutenant General retired Tom Baptiste and others. We were up in D.C. on a Central Florida partnership, or should I say Orlando Economic Partnership fly-in. Our mission up there was to evangelize modeling simulation training to our congressional leaders. As we were walking, I was trying to keep up with Mayor Jacobs. We started talking about what we need to do here in Central Florida. And I was honored that she asked me to chair her commission. Our primary focus at that time was everything we could do to save the modeling simulation assets we have here in Central Florida. I'm here to tell you that that mission was accomplished through a lot of men and women in this room. I see Tom Baptiste, I see Randy Barrage, Ed Shawns, others. Especially I look over and I see Dan Holsenbeck from UCF. Thank you for all you've done, sir. It was a team effort led by the community. As we accomplished that mission, her vision was how can we diversify modeling simulation training. And that's led us here to be here for the fourth time today. And I can't tell you how it's grown and what it's done to impact. As I look out as far as and see everyone here, it's a reflection of the vision that she's had. Not just we started working on this on what was affectionately called SOS, Save Our Simulation, for some of those who remember those military acronyms that we use, but what she's done as far as to diversify our economy. The impact that Mayor Jacobs has had has not just been felt here locally, across the state, nationally, but internationally, because we are the epicenter of modeling simulation training, and that's led to this event. So please join me in welcoming our mayor, my mayor, the Modeling Simulation Training Mayor, Teresa Jacobs.
Well, wow, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I apologize for being a moment or two late. We had some of our guests here took a little spill on the way in. So we had to stop and make sure everybody was safe in arriving here. I'm sure you will appreciate. Public safety comes first always in Orange County. And you guys know that so well because so much of what you do helps us make public safety even better. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 4th Annual Florida Simulation Summit. Wow, I can't believe it's been 4 years. And it's so wonderful to see so many familiar faces here today. And it's also wonderful to welcome some newcomers. We're set for a great day, but before we dive into our agenda, I'd like to share just a few comments, including my personal thanks. First, to our awesome organizers. Let's start with Bev C. Bev, who's been a tireless champion and chair of these summits and always coming up with new ideas. Bev, thank you for your leadership. And from our co-host, the National Center for Simulation, retired General Tom Baptiste, and George Cheros. Is George with us as well, Tom? All right, wonderful. Thank you all so much. And finally, of course, to Wayman Armstrong, chair of the MS&T Blue Ribbon Commission, and for your great background and explanation of how we came together. in this forum, and how we've come to unite to create an even stronger relationship between our MS&T industry as well as other industries here in Central Florida and across the nation. Thanks to all of you for your creative vision and your drive, as well as the hard work of so many industry leaders. This summit has become a great success, and I'm very proud to be able to host my last one. Along with the way that we've grown, we've also strengthened and solidified Central Florida's reputation as the world's epicenter for modeling, simulation, and training. From scientific discovery to the creation of high-value jobs and infrastructure, our MS&T economy continues to be the envy of the world. This year's summit is focused on the digital twin technology and the Internet of Things, two areas of which I understand almost nothing. But that's great, and that's the way it should be. In fact, to me, that's what makes this all worthwhile. That this summit is dealing with topics of such depth and innovation, that's the real hallmark of innovative leadership. But of course, even for those of us who are not immersed in this technology, including policy leaders and elected officials like me, it's important to be aware of and support this technology development. Through digital twin technology, I've come to learn, essentially the creation of a mirror image digital system, we're changing the very face and function of MS&T. Imagine being able to troubleshoot and test the most complex digital, gaming, and simulation applications before the product goes to market, before you even begin production. Anything that has a system or network will rely on this technology in the near future as a test function. I'm so proud and excited that from the very start, right here in Orange County, we're focused on this crucial area of systems development and systems performance improvement. As far as the Internet of Things, okay, this gets me really excited. From the retail, consumer, and tech industry point of view, this will truly transform our technology landscape. We're so glad to be able to welcome today Bill Schmarzo. Bill, thank you so much for joining us. He's going to give us his insights on this fascinating frontier. And Bill, just if you could help me with this a little bit. If you can help me learn how to get my refrigerator to talk to my iPhone so that when I come home, I have an idea of what I'm supposed to make for dinner, or better still, if you can figure out how it could start that process of making dinner so we don't have to figure out who's handling that part either, you have my 100% attention. But seriously, from smart appliances to technology that will transform our daily lives, and by harnessing the information and the data that we already have in a way that we haven't thought of before, we're embarking on a whole new era. Ladies and gentlemen, through these annual summits, we've been inspired by you, by your industry, and by the leadership that you have shown. The emerging technologies and the awesome applications of our MS&T and digital industries are something that we're enormously proud of. Thank you for being here today, but more important, thank you for being part of Orange County. For the businesses that you run, the jobs that you create, but most important, your leadership as members of our community. You have made Orange County the best place in the world to live, to work, to discover, and to innovate. Wayman, I'm going to turn this back over to you. Where did Wayman go? Wayman, I'm turning this back over to you for one final time.
Thank you. You know, I got to tell you, I'm so excited about the future for the event, but I'm sad. I'm sad for that Mayor Jacobs is leaving. I'm so thankful that she's continuing her servant's heart to serve Orlando and Orange County. And I'm here to tell you, somebody who's worked in this industry for 20 plus years and going through, no one has done more than she has to support modeling simulation training. So again, please join me in thanking Mayor Jacobs again. You know, the mayor mentioned earlier, this event does not take place without a lot of hard work. And it doesn't take place as far as without an outstanding leader. And we're fortunate to have had that for the last 4 summits through Beverly C. I've been fortunate enough to be friends with Bev C for 10 years. I've known her of her reputation for 10 plus years before that, since I got in the industry. She's been an icon working in modeling simulation training. She helped grow the SAIC footprint and the CAE footprint from very small to incredibly large, being one of the top 2 firms. She is a woman who I respect both as far as professionally but also personally, who not just as far as has been successful professionally, but is a true leader in how she has given back to the community. She sits currently, and she would tell you as far as on the as a UCF trustee, go Knights. She is a passionate advocate for women in technology fields. She is the former executive director as far as at the University of Nebraska Omaha of one of their institutes as far as on cyber and technology. She is also active as a Georgia Tech graduate sitting on their boards as well. And most importantly, and I think locally to us, and she probably will tell you this, if not, I'll say it for her and Tom Baptiste will, she went in 2017 into the NCS Hall of Fame. So please join, yes. And if she won't, I will take you and show you where her plaque is. Please join me in welcoming my friend, Beverly C., our chair of this event, up.
Well, good morning, and thank you all for attending our hurricane-free, because last year we had a hurricane at this time, 2018 Florida Simulation Summit. Mayor Jacob tasks the Blue Ribbon Commission each year to showcase simulation technologies being developed and applied in the Florida commercial as well as defense industries. This is our fourth and most technically advanced summit. I would like to thank Michael Chance, the Director of Technology Analysis for Disney Design and Engineering and a member of the National Center for Simulation, for encouraging us to dedicate this summit to digital twin technology and the Internet of Things. Thank you, Michael. The world is in the midst of another industrial revolution, identified as the fourth industrial revolution. The first one was the use of the steam engine, which added mechanical power to production facilities. The second was the use of electrical power, which greatly expanded the use of production facilities, both in terms of operational time and usage. The third was the inclusion of automation of industrial control. The device most linked in this revolution is the programmable logic control, more commonly known as PLC. The fourth, and likely most disruptive, is the utilization of industrial data analytics and networks to improve efficiency and reliability. Operational technology, or OT, is the term generally used to describe industrial control systems or technology that changes physical state, for example, motors, conveyors. And when OT is combined with the Internet of Things, the Internet of Things facility network, the increase in productivity of manufacturing and industrial plants, as well as connected transportation systems, will likely be significant. OT-IoT has become a major point of study now that machine learning, deep learning, and detailed physical dynamic simulations have become ubiquitous in today's computational environment. And that is the key. Many of these concepts have been around for over 30 years, but it took today's computation platforms and business value propositions to make it the reality it is today. But how is modeling and simulation related to OT, IoT, and industrial data analytics? Modeling and simulation in the form of a digital twin can be used to form a stream of output based on real-time data for predictive and prescriptive maintenance, in addition to the output from reinforced learning, machine learning, deep learning algorithms, which are constructed using historical and real-time data. When combined, this provides an insightful view in the operational health of a plant. Central Florida is a robotics innovation hub, an aerospace design core, active in data analytics, application development, and the simulation center of the country, some would say the world. In addition to many other technological disciplines, what better place to discuss this topic? We have the opportunity today to listen to leading experts in the field of OT/IoT data analytics, future computational platforms, advanced simulation development environments, and local applications of these technologies to tourism, smart cities, and manufacturing. We hope you will enjoy today's summit. We have Twitter handles. Ask Florida Slim, Florida Sim, and Ask Florida Sim. Okay. I'd also like to thank our sponsors and encourage all of you during the breaks to visit our sponsor tables and have time to network and get to know each other. I'd now like to introduce our keynote speaker, Bill Schmarzo. Bill is the CTO, IoT and Analytics at Hitachi Vantara. He's a University of San Francisco Executive Fellow, an honorary professor at the National University of Ireland in Galway. He's written 2 books on using data science to monetize your big data initiatives. He has over 30 years in data and analytics. Please join me in welcoming Bill Schmarzo.
Yeah, let's wake up, right? Let's wake up. Mayor Jacobs, thank you for the introduction and the call out. In fact, this session is going to be for you and the students here from the National Football Champions, UCF, right? Right. So I wanted a shirt, right? When we talk about IoT and digital twins and data and analytics, we always end up talking about smart refrigerators and smart cities and smart factories and intelligent applications. We talk smart, we talk intelligent, and no one really knows what that means. We think it's about a technology conversation. We get hung up on technology, and it's the wrong frame. I teach at the University of San Francisco. When we teach our students TensorFlow, for example, we say, don't learn TensorFlow, learn how to learn TensorFlow in a frame that's important to what it is you're trying to accomplish. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to try to change the frame. I don't want to talk technology. We've got too much technology. We confuse our customers with technology. Instead, I'm going to talk about something totally different. You students from UCF, write this down. If you're my students at USF, you'd be a test on this. The most important, the most challenging question customers wrestle with is, how effective is your organization at leveraging data and analytics to power your business models? It's a business model maturity. Bev talked about disruption, right? It's not disrupting technology, it's technology that's disrupting business models. And so we created this, we call the Big Data Business Model Maturity Index, because when you ask companies this question about how effective are they look at you like you have lobsters crawling out of your ears. Right? We have no idea. We have no idea where we stand vis-a-vis best practices, and we don't know how to advance from where we are to where we need to be. So most organizations, unfortunately, and this is probably 98% of the companies that I talk to, are stuck. They're wedged in phase 1, where they're using data and analytics to tell them what happened. Reports and dashboards about what happened. They need to transition. They need to become more predictive about what's likely to happen, to become more prescriptive about what action should I take, be more preventative to prevent actions. They need to figure out, how am I going to monetize not the data that comes out of these IoT devices, but the insights. And I'm going to argue that digital twins are all about insights. They're not about data. And then ultimately what you can do is you're going to transform, metamorphosize the business. It's the ultimate digital transformation where the economic value of data is correctly reflected on your financial statements. You change how the organization rewards and pays people regarding the sharing and creation of these new digital assets called data and analytics. My class, we spend the first 3 hours on this slide because it's very important for organizations to understand not only where they are, but how do I become more effective? How do I become more predictive, more prescriptive, more preventative? How do I monetize those insights, and how do I transform the culture of the organization to embrace data and analytics not as a technology conversation, but as a business discipline? Now, to do this, by the way, if you believe that this is something you can do, something that's worthwhile doing, there's ways you can do it, but the simplest way we find is that you start with something that's important to the business or operations. Don't start with the technology. When you start with the technology, you automatically put yourself in a box. You've wiped out all the exploration of the realm of what's possible. Start with a business problem. Start with a hypothesis. Start with what it is you're trying to accomplish as an organization. What are the KPIs and measures against which you're going to measure success and progress? What are the costs of type 1 and type 2 errors? Oh my God, I just talk stats. Sorry, I'll stick that back in my mouth. Right? How are you going to measure success? Who are the stakeholders with whom either impact or are impacted by that initiative? And the secret sauce that we have found when you talk about this approach around business initiatives, the secret sauce is, voila, decisions. Decisions. We're ultimately trying to optimize decisions. And the beauty of having a conversation around decisions is that every business stakeholder I've talked to, and I guess I've 30-some years in my industry. I started when I was 10. Every business stakeholder I've ever talked to knows what decisions they're trying to make. They've been trying to make them for years, decades, generations. What's changed is the data and analytics out there that the data science team can apply to better to predict what's likely to happen, and then to really dig out the value in the data around the predictions. And oh, by the way, yeah, you're going to need technology. You're going to need architecture. But don't start there. When you start with architecture and technology, you automatically put yourself in a box. You limit the realm of what's possible. So let's talk about big data and IoT and digital twins. Oh my, right? So we've all are experiencing the big data revolution because we live it. Anybody who's got a mobile phone, anybody who hangs on a website knows what's going on in this space here. And leading organizations, the Googles, the Facebooks, the Amazons, the Apples of the world, have already done something that should be very familiar with you, right? They've created these analytic profiles. They've created an analytic profile on every one of their customers. And they measure they're capturing and measuring their tendencies, their inclinations. What products are they likely to buy next? How much are they likely to buy? When are they going to do it? What else are they going to buy, right? If you go to Amazon, if you go to Netflix, if you go to Spotify, they're making recommendations, right? They're recommending books. You go to eHarmony, they recommend spouses, right? You spit into a cup and it tells you when you're going to die, right? They make all these recommendations. You live it. And these organizations have been building these analytic or behavioral profiles for a long time, because it isn't the data that they're monetizing, it's what they know about each of you. Well, along comes IoT, and IoT, in my old Iowa vernacular, just brought forth a whole shitload of data. All right, a lot of data out there. Well, what's interesting about it isn't monetization of the data that's interesting. It's about things. It's these digital twins that we're building about coolers and pumps and jet engines and wind turbines. Much like the way humans have unique behaviors and interests and that they change over time, so do things. They have different behaviors. So you think, I don't understand what a digital twin is. My gosh, you are a digital twin. You're a digital twin to Amazon. You're a digital twin to Apple. You're a digital twin to Facebook. Oh my gosh, right? And so what's happening now is it's around these digital twins that we're going to drive our monetization efforts. We're going to predict when it's likely to fail. We're going to predict its remaining useful life. We're going to predict its salvage value. Right? We're going to leverage all this great simulation and analytics software out there to build these detailed models around which we are going to drive our monetization efforts. The digital twins, you already know what they are because you're already one. I'm going to skip these 2 slides. I know I'm going to go long. They're going to be in the deck. What I want to highlight about this, as you start thinking about your IoT architectures and trying to figure out where do I put what technologies where, take a look at that bottom line. The decisions that you are trying to make and the latency of those decisions will dictate entirely your IoT architecture. Start with the decisions. I sound like a broken record? You should be. Decision, 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 and yes, we're going to use all kinds of really cool advanced artificial intelligence in different parts to make all kinds of great decisions, but the bottom line is you don't really care about what kind of technology we're using, you only care that we're making better decisions. So let's talk about this smart thing. Let's talk about how we get smart. Mayor Jacobs, she gave me this a good lead-in, right? How do I get my phone to talk to my refrigerator, right? I want to create smart, right? I want to create smart, factories and hospitals and schools and airports and cities. Smart cities. So when we say smart, we start talking about building smart airplanes, smart cars, smart stadiums, smart malls. How do you frame the conversation so we know what smart is? Let me give you a really simple definition. Again, we need to simplify the conversation. If it's too complicated too early, we lose our customers and we leave the economic value of our data and analytics on the floor. So when I think about smart, I'm going to argue that what we did at USF in our research is to find that smart is the sum of the decisions that an organization has to make in support of its operational, cultural, citizen objectives. Decisions. So think about a smart city. Did some work with the city of San Jose. I sit on the city of San Jose Technology Innovation Board. So we're making decisions regarding things like traffic, safety, crime, local events, building permits, right? There's a lot of decisions. There's lots of use cases. But a couple of key points here. First off, it's not infinite. Number 2, you can pick places to start. And the biggest challenge you're going to have in a smart city initiative, or any one of these smart initiatives, is you're going to have more use cases than you have resources. People don't fail at smart because of lack of use cases. They fail because they got too many. So you need a thoughtful process up front before you ever bring technology to bear to identify, validate, vet, value, and prioritize those use cases. Put in place a roadmap, because what's going to happen as you start knocking off use case by use case, you're going to be able to reuse the data from one use case to the next use case. You're going to be able to reuse the analytics. Reuse is a really key important concept here. If I'm not able to reuse these things, I'm building non-scalable solutions. If you really believe that data and analytics is a digital asset that thrives inside your digital twins, you got to strive for reuse. And the one thing that digital twins do and analytic profiles do for humans is they allow for the reuse of the insights you learn about those things. So the process isn't impossible. In fact, we're not trying to make the simple task mundane, we're trying to make the impossible task manageable. Pick use cases and knock them. And by the way, there is no wrong place to start. You pick one and you nail it. If you're going to go after traffic, you can predict, you can report on traffic accidents, you can predict where they're going to happen, you can take prescriptive actions. Let me wrap up with some research we just did at University of San Francisco. And this was a journey more for me than I think there was the students. And the challenge that our industry has had for a long time is we don't know how to quantify the value of our data. And people have tried. For the last 15, 20 years, there's been papers. Doug Laney wrote a book about it recently. Doug and I are good friends. I said, Doug, I don't buy it. It doesn't work for me yet. And so we did this research project, and by the way, I'll make the link available to all the participants. It's incredibly boring. If you think my books are boring, ready to read this thing. It's 30 pages, and you can tell it's a research project because look, the title takes up the entire first page. Right? So what happened is that we were doing some research, and we had these series of aha moments. And the first one occurred when we were thinking about and talking about data as currency. Well, data as currency doesn't behave like other currencies. If you think about, money as currency, real obvious currency, right? If you go to Starbucks and you give them $1 for a cup of coffee, if you give them $5 for a cup of coffee, right? You get a cup of coffee, you give them their $5, and it's a transaction is done. Money is transactionally limited. Same thing with humans. Here I am presenting today. I'm not writing a book. I'm not teaching at USF. I'm not cleaning the garage that my wife wants me to do that I refuse to get involved in. Right? So their currencies have this transactional limitation. Data doesn't. Data has this almost a network effect, a multiplier. If you think about it, it's about economics. It really is about economics. The whole idea of how you determine the value of data, I'm going to go really old school on you. I'm going to go really weird on you here. I'm going to bring up Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, 1776. Right? Adam Smith talks in the book about how you create value. Right? He talks, a big chunk of the book is talking about value in exchange. Right? Which is the value of something is determined by how much someone is willing to pay you for it. And most data monetization conversations start with people saying, well, I want to sell my data to people. No, you don't. It's not as valuable to them as it is to you. But Adam Smith also talked about value in use. That is, what is the value I can derive from an asset and how I use it? So the problem we've had with this value of data conversation is we've attacked it from an accounting perspective, right? You think about value in exchange or value in monetization, the entire accounting system, the depreciation schedules and balance sheets are all set up for that. This is not an accounting conversation. This is an economics conversation. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now that everything about data and analytics, the heart of data and analytics is not about technology, it's about economics. It's about how do I unleash the economic value inside there. Don't focus on the technology. Go find those, I'm sure you threw out both your stats books and your economics books the minute you left college. Go buy them again. So I'm going to walk you through a simple example. Let's say that you're a retailer and you're collecting point of sales data. And the first use case, I want to use that data. So I'm going to get that data set, that point of sales data. I got it available. I got it in a data lake. And I'm going to use it to improve my promotional effectiveness. And that's going to improve my promotional effectiveness by 2.5%. Now that 2.5% is worth something, right? Might be $5 billion, might be $500,000, might be $50 million, I don't care. It's worth something. And I can start attributing the value associated with that use case back to the data. And a second, but wait, as they used to say in the Ronco commercial, but wait, there's more, right? Marketing can also use that same exact data set to improve customer acquisition by 2%. Or call center can use it to improve customer retention by 3.5%. Or product development can improve new product introductions. Or you can start seeing what's happening here. The same data set can be used across an almost infinite number of use cases, deriving and driving value at a marginal cost near zero. Data is not the new oil. Data is the new sun. Never wears out, never depletes, can be used over and over again. That, by the way, became the foundation for our research project. We had these series of aha moments about, it's not about accounting, it's about economics. It's about the use cases. In fact, when we think about it, what we found is that we see these problems across IT organizations. Data silos. Data silos are the great destroyer of economic value. If you believe that value is created because you can reuse things, and you got people in the organization who won't share their data, and by the way, data silos today is not a technology issue. It's an organizational issue. If you can't share the data, data silos and shadow IT spend kill economic value of data. I'm also going to talk to you about this orphan analytics phenomenon we ran into, which is we found organizations that were building one-off analytic solutions. They got the kind of a cookie, a Krispy Kreme donut rush from it, right? But they weren't able to reuse the analytics over and over again. Digital twins. So our approach was that we focus in on, surprise, surprise, we start with use cases. We start with use cases. If you learn anything from Bill Schmarzo today, other than he's tall and from Iowa and he swears too much, is that start with the use cases. Take the time, invest the time up front to identify, validate, vet, and prioritize those use cases. And unleash the realm of what's possible as you look at data and analytics from those use cases. Now, once you identify the use cases and prioritize them, then you figure out, for that particular use case, what data do I need? And what analytics do I need? So I'm walking through an example. Let's say that our job is to reduce unplanned operational downtime. You can be a hospital, you can be a sports arena, you can be a lot of different things, right? Unplanned operational downtime, expensive. There's financial impact, there's customer impact, there's all kinds of ripple impacts across the organization. And you've gone through an envisioning kind of a process. We've identified the use cases, which are really summarizations of decisions to support that particular initiative. So you're going to have a use case around improved performance anomaly detection. You're going to have something about reducing time to repair or optimizing performance yield, right? You're going to have these use cases. And you're going to go through the process of prioritizing and validating and valuing. And then you're going to attack it. And this is what your data lake's going to look like, right? First use case, improve anomaly detection. It's worth $22 million. Maybe it's 12 million. Maybe it's 2. I don't care. It's worth something. And I need to have 1, 2, 3, 4. I need those 5 data sources. I need those 5 data sources to improve anomaly detection. So now I have the basis of literally attributing the value of the solution back to those data sets. Now my second use case comes up. Reduce time to repair. It's worth some X number of dollars. I need to have 6 data sources, but wait. 3 of them are already there. 3 of them are free beer. Right? 3 of them are already there. And what happens now, use case by use case, I start building up my data lake, that the data I'm putting in my data lake has an attached ROI to it. I know how I'm going to monetize it. And I'm building it out one use case at a time because I want to drive the reuse of the data across use cases. And it doesn't take very long for somebody to take a look at this chart and say, wow, sensor data and asset demographics data sources are really important. They're used in almost every use case. This is important because organizations on the IT side struggle to get the funding around metadata management and data governance that's required to make the data even richer. If I can attach value back to the data, I now have a basis of going back to the business and saying, I want to spend X number of dollars to improve the granularity and latency and the accuracy of my data. It is no longer a wish list that you hope the business supports you. I can now tie value to it. So this makes sense from a data perspective. We've done this with a number of clients. We've done it other places. Analytics didn't work out as smoothly. And this was because of me. For a long time, I had taught that analytics is nothing but curated data. That was wrong. Let me walk you through. So let's say that our first use case, for example, is around improved anomaly detection. In order to do that, I'm going to build analytics around asset classification and performance cohort analysis. I'm going to have to build analytics, right? My second use case comes up around reduced time to repair. Sort of watch the chart here. I'm going to create a predicted remaining useful life analytic, but to do that, I had to improve my performance cohort analytics. I reused, I checked in, checked out, version controlled, and improved my performance cohort analytics from 1.0 to 1.1 in order to do that second use case. What use case just got better at 0 cost? The first one. It inherited the improvement in the analytics. And what happens is you go through use case by use case as you start treating analytics not as data but as software. Think about it as your digital twins are nothing but a key value store that holds all these insights about these assets that I can start using across multiple use cases. The value is in reuse. And understanding the use cases you're going to apply to that. Don't skip through the process of trying to identify the right use cases. Spend the time to understand what's important, how you're going to measure success, and envisioning the realm of what's possible with data and analytics. All right, let me wrap up here really quickly. I think you're going to find is that digital twins are the monetization engine. As I build out these digital twins around my key assets in the same way that organizations that build out their analytic profiles on us humans to drive monetization, the digital twins will be the source of monetization as well. As you use them, reuse the assets over and over again across use cases. Again, this is not a technology conversation. It's an economics conversation. Thank you for your time. Okay. Uh-oh, okay, there we go. Questions? Stump Bill, which won't be hard.
So,
The first question, I'm sure, is why is Iowa football so bad? Okay.
So we have hashtag FLSIM, and we also have mics. So do we have any questions for Bill?
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
Yep, there's one.
What type of spin-off business industries are significantly benefiting from the evolution of IoT?
What type of spin-off business and industries? Let me reframe it in a second. So I think every industry is going to benefit, but many are going to fall by the wayside. Because if you all remember seeing there's a graphic out there of Napoleon's march on Russia, right? Where the big army starts off marching across to Russia and then gets there and he fails and he comes back. By the time he comes back, he's that little tiny line. Digital transformation is like that. Many organizations are going to start, very few are going to finish because they have the wrong frame. They think about, I'm going to throw technology at it. I'll tell you right now, the sooner you think about technology as a disposable, the better off you're going to be. The data and the analytic insights you're going to use over and over again. I got clients who got data from CICS systems, right? The CICS systems are long dead, the data's still there. So I think the organizations that are going to benefit are organizations that focus in on moving beyond the artificial borders of their industries to really identify and capture the sources of customer and market value creation. Right? It's the borders that define industries are being knocked down. And I think first off, you're going to see organizations attack those borders. Second thing is around customer disintermediation. People stepping in between you and your customers and siphoning them off because they got better insights about your customers, more holistic view. So I don't think it's particular. There's all kinds of startups that are going to come and cause pain. You're going to have, by the way, partners who you thought were partners are also going to be competitors. You're going to cause pain. You need to own your data. You need to make sure you're leveraging analytics to understand how the digital twins extend across the entire value creation journey. So I didn't think I solved the problem about connecting, but we'll talk more about it.
Oh, we have a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
Hey, we have a mic for you.
You were talking about how this is influencing different technologies. Can you give some examples of new technologies that may be using data analytics to influence artificial intelligence?
Ooh. Wow. So my opinion, the artificial intelligence space is very interesting. First off, artificial intelligence is one of those, jumbo shrimp oxymorons. Really hard to say, well, what is artificial intelligence? We know we have things like supervised and unsupervised machine learning. We know we have neural networks and deep learning. We know we have reinforcement learning. And around each of those kinds of analytic capabilities, you're seeing a bevy of open source capabilities being released. The TensorFlows from Google's and the Caffe2 from Facebook and H2O, open sourced all their frameworks and such. it's an interesting space that in the space of these advanced analytics, the companies that are going to make money aren't the companies that are developing the libraries because they're open source. The companies that are going to make money are the ones who optimize and figure out how best to use that. I love the fact that Google took TensorFlow, which by the way is the leading machine learning framework today, TensorFlow. 3 years ago, it didn't even exist. And today it's #1. Everybody in all the universities are using it, so it's going to be around a while, right? But we don't know, by the way, who's going to be around 3 years from now. It's probably something new, right? So Google basically threw TensorFlow out there, which is the technology you to drive all their search capabilities, and they said, I dare you to do better. I dare you to do better. They threw it out there, and everybody's pounding on it like mad, and by every time somebody makes an addition to that, somebody adds to it, everybody uses TensorFlow, it gets better. It raises the entire river, lake, all boats rise. But the company who gets better faster is Google. They got you testing their most important software, making it better. Thank you very much, they're saying, because we are better at monetizing insights than anybody else out there. And they throw the gauntlet down and dare you to do better. So in the AI space, a really long answer, sorry, to your short question, was there's a lot of different technologies out there. When you start thinking about the decisions you're trying to optimize, this is where bringing the business stakeholders together with the data scientists is critical. Because I expect the business people to understand the decisions and the importance and the value of the decisions. I expect my data scientists with their big, huge, giant brains to know that there are 27 different types of neural network capabilities and which one to use for what situation.
Question? How are digital twins disrupting industries and changing business?
I love that question. To me, that's the question we should be talking about. This idea that it's disrupting business models because it's going after the sources of value creation. If you don't know from a journey map perspective, so I'm a big fan of design thinking and using customer journey maps to understand from the point of customer epiphany to the point of customer expiration, where are the points of value being created? And then how do I build and re-engineer or digitalize my processes to capture those sources of value? So disruption happens by companies who are not bound by their current thinking that my industry, my company stops at these 4 walls. They've dropped those walls down and are looking at the entire journey. And one of the things, by the way, just a really quick point, one of the things we found is that when you think about this digital transformation disruption, monetize the pain. That is, when customers are trying to do something and they have inhibitors around it, the ability to monetize pain is powerful. Think about what Uber has done, right? They've monetized the pain of having to drive to a restaurant and find parking, right? And I got to worry about a designated driver. No, not with Uber. They took what was an inhibitor to having a fun night out, and they've monetized it. So when you look across your customer journey maps, look at the pain points your customers are having. Focus there. Monetize that.
Bill, we have another question.
You are trying to stump me. God, I need a haircut. Here it is.
Okay. What should we be embedding into our education systems to prepare the future workforce for the smart world
Thank you.
they will be part of?
This is what I do at USF. I teach business students, MBA students, and now I'm teaching a number of executives as well, to embrace data and analytics as a business discipline. And we teach frameworks for how do I go about understanding kind of that build slide I showed, a second slide. We have a whole process we call thinking like a data scientist. We take our students through and our executives through so they understand how they can be prepared for when new advances in analytics can become available. I've got a process in place for understanding how I might plug that in to drive business value. So the challenge for organizations being successful with data and analytics doesn't rest on IT, and we put the entire burden on IT. It rests on the business and their willingness to become more effective at leveraging data and analytics to drive their business and their business models. IT is trying to be the enabler, but we can't do it about the business stakeholders. Not only on the boat with me, I want them at the front of the boat pointing what direction we're going to go.
That's great. We have another question.
That's like the Riddler thing. I keep thinking, riddle me this, Batman.
Okay, how are cities using digital twins to transform and evolve?
So in San Jose, we started off by targeting traffic. And what we wanted to do is to build our ability to predict where actions were likely to happen and to prescribe corrective actions around that. So we built out the data and analytics around that. And one of the things we found out as part of that project is that you may not always be able to prevent accidents, but you can limit the negative impact an accident has on traffic. For example, there's a certain, one of the highways in San Jose, at a certain time of year you drive right into the sun. Right, the number of accidents jump there dramatically. So what do? We pre-locate tow trucks out there. So when the accident does happen, right, when it does happen, we can get them off the road in 5 minutes instead of 35 minutes. And we avoid that accordion effect of all the traffic building up. So pick a use case, solve it, predict, prescribe, prevent, capture the data and analytics from that, and then target your second one.
Great, great. Do we have any more questions for Bill?
You're wearing me out.
No? Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. That was fabulous.
Thanks.
Okay, so now we'll have a 15-minute break, and would like you all to please visit our sponsors and enjoy your networking opportunity. We'll see you all back here at, 10:15?